So today is December 5th on the secular calendar, on the solar calendar. And usually the English dates aren't really relevant to halacha. We usually follow the Hebrew calendar, the lunar calendar, and Hanukkah is on Chafei Kislev. It could be December 11th, 12th, it could be December 20th, so the day usually changes on the solar calendar. However, when it comes to the halacha of a saying Tal Matar in our middle of Shmona Esrei, there are three sections in our Shmona Esrei. The first blessings are brachas of praise. The second section is request. And the third section is thank you. So in our middle section, the Baruch Aleinu, on December 4th or 5th, in Chutz La'aretz, we add the saying Tal Matar. We ask for the blessing for rain. In Eretz Yisrael, in Israel, they already started asking. On Zayin Mar Cheshvan, the 7th day of Cheshvan, about 2 weeks after Sukkot, they started asking for rain. In Chutz La'aretz, we wait to December 4th or 5th, depending if it's a civil, if it's preceded by a civil leap year. However, this year it would make a difference anyway, even though we should begin December 4th at night, which is the tricky thing. It's this: you take the English date December 4th, but we start at nighttime. By Year Vayiboker, we still go by the Jewish day, which begins at night. So it either be December 4th at night, you begin inserting the same Tal Matar in our Shmona Esrei, or December 5th. So this, even though we should have started December 4th, however, it's academic because it was Friday night, and there is no V'sein Tal Matar in our davening Friday night. As we know, we only have 7 brachas in our Shmona Esrei on Shabbos. We have the first 3 and the last 3, they always stay the same. The first 3 blessings of praise and the last 3 of thank you. And we talk about the Kedusha Shabbos, we have a blessing on the Shabbos. Actually, we have a different Shemona Esrei. In contrast to Yantif, we have 3 different Shemona Esreis: Friday night, Shabbos morning, and Shabbos Mincha. The Shabbos of Ma'aseh Bereshis, of the creation of the world. The Shabbos of Matan Torah, Yismach Moshe Matan Aschelko, as well as Ata'echa V'Shimcha, the Shabbos of Mincha alluding to Yemos HaMashiach, when the whole world recognizes God. So we insert it in the middle, and since there is no middle section of request on Shabbos, we don't make requests on Shabbos. Therefore, as we'll see, we begin, we wouldn't say it's Friday night anyway. So this year we began on December 5th at night. So Motzai Shabbos is when we began inserting the same Tal Matar. So in fact, there's a famous question which we'll get into, is what happens if Friday afternoon, so let's say next Friday, you davening Shemona Esrei Mincha on Shabbos, Mincha Erev Shabbos, Mincha on Friday, and you daven Mincha, you forget the saying Tal Matar. So we'll see the halacha is, if you forget the saying Tal Matar, you have to go back and repeat the Shemona Esrei. And so if you remembered right away, you could stop and it's still time of Mincha, you could daven Mincha over again. But what happens if it's nighttime, it's Shabbos already, and you realize you left out the saying Tal Matar? So would you have to daven a second Shemona Esrei to make up for your Mincha? Why wouldn't you? That's the normal halacha. The halacha is halacha of tashlumin. If you miss Shacharis, you get to make it up at Mincha by inserting a second Shemona Esrei at Mincha. Or if you get Mincha, you have a second Shemona Esrei at Ma'ariv to Shacharis. So why should this be an issue? If we're saying the halacha is you have to go back if you forget it's saying Tal Matar, so what's there to discuss? So why should it make a difference Friday afternoon to Friday night? Because the halacha is as well, if you forget to daven Mincha Friday afternoon, So everyone agrees you got to daven 2 Shemona Esrei Friday night. So why is this an issue? It's because we'll see is because on Shabbos, as I just mentioned, there is no mention of a saying Talmud Matter. So since you already davened Mincha, and you left out the saying Talmud Matter, and now when you're davening Friday night, you're not going to be mentioning the saying Talmud Matter anyway, is there any point in going back? So we have a similar question regarding Yala v'Yavo on Rosh Chodesh. The Tosas in Chavav Amud Beis 26b in the beginning of Brachas, in the fourth parak, in the beginning of the fourth parak, raises the following question: what happens if you daven Mincha the last day of Rosh Chodesh and you forgot to say Yala v'Yavo? And now Rosh Chodesh is, and you remembered, if you remember right away, you daven Mincha again with Yala v'Yavo. But let's say you remember it's nighttime, Rosh Chodesh is over. So should I daven a second Shemona Esrei? What's the issue? Because again, at Ma'ariv at night, there is no Yala v'Yavo because Rosh Chodesh is over, and you already daven Mincha, so do you have to daven a second Shemona Esrei? So that's a major dispute among the Rishonim. Tosas brings down some from Rabbeinu Yehuda that no, there's no point in going back. There's nothing to gain by it. You're not going to say Yala v'Yavo anyway, Rosh Chodesh is over. So what's the point of going back? And other Rishonim disagree and say you have to go back. So what's the Nekudas HaMachlokas? What's the issue whether you have to go back or not? So the issue is, how do you view a Shemona Esrei without Yala v'Yavo? In other words, when we say the lach is you have to go back, if you forgot Yala v'Yavo, why do you have to go back? Is it pshat that really you are yotze your mitzvah of tefillah, you fulfilled your mitzvah of Shemona Esrei? The only thing is you are lacking in the special mention of the day. You have a chiyuv haskara. You have a special obligation to mention about Rosh Chodesh on Rosh Chodesh. And since Chazal said, our rabbi said you have to do Yala v'Yavo in the context of Shemona Esrei, so therefore you'd have to go back. But really I fulfilled my mitzvah of tefillah, of prayer. I'm only lacking in the chiyuv haskara. And therefore, in order to say Yala v'Yavo, since I can't do it in a vacuum, I have to do it in the context of Shemona Esrei. Therefore, I have to go back. Is that why I have to go back, or no? If a Yala v'Yavo without Shemona Esrei isn't a Shemona Esrei, it's like I didn't daven at all. If I didn't daven at all, we know the halacha is you need tashlumin. So that's the machlokes. Rabbeinu Yehuda says apparently that you fulfilled your mitzvah of tefillah, and you're only lacking in the special mention of the day. Since you can't mention Rosh Chodesh after Rosh Chodesh is over, so there's nothing to gain. You already daven Mincha, and if you're going to redo a tashum and a makeup, you're just going to daven over the same Shemona Esrei, so there's no point to it. And the other opinion says no. A davening Shemona Esrei without Yala v'Yavo is not davening Mincha at all. Everyone agrees if you don't daven Mincha at all, you have to daven 2 Shemona Esreis. That seems to be the issue in the Machlokas Rabbeinu Yehuda and the Rif, and well, halacha, it seems to be a tzveika dedina. It seems to be a issue in halacha. So we go with the compromise. The Mishnah Berurah writes that we do daven a second Shemona Esrei. If you forget Yala v'Yavo, if you forget Mincha, the last Mincha Rosh Chodesh, then everyone agrees you have to daven 2 Shemona Esrei. You didn't daven Mincha at all. But if you daven Mincha and left out Yala v'Yavo, so since it's a dispute, so what you do is when you daven the second Shemona Esrei, you make the following stipulation. If the halacha is like the Rif that I have to daven over, so let this serve as a tashlumin, as a makeup. And if the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, let this be a tfilas nedava. There's a concept of a carbon nedava, bringing an extra carbon, a free will, a volunteer, you volunteer a carbon. So too I can volunteer tefillah. Davening, as Rabbi Yochanan says, halavai, a person can daven all the time. So therefore you go ahead and you're allowed to volunteer. So you make the following stipulation: if it's halachas like the rush, I am doing it because I have to repeat. If the halachas like Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbeinu Yehuda, so then it's just a tefillas and dava. That's the halacha by Yala v'Yavo. The issue is, how do you view a Yala v'Yavo? Is it part of Shemona Esrei or not? So let's assume the halachas are Rabbeinu Yehuda, as we'll see Rav Chaim seems to assume. So Rav Chaim In the Chidushay Hagrach, right in the beginning, he raises the following question. Let's say you forgot to say Talomater, you daven mincha, but you left out Talomater. So what is the din? Do you have to daven Arvish Tayim or not? Because again, since you're not going to mention Talomater Friday night, because there is no middle section of request, so the question is, do you compare it to Yalav Yavo or not? If you compare it to Yalav Yavo, and you assume like Rabbeinu Yehuda, so then the halacha would be, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's no point in general to repeat, so therefore you wouldn't repeat here. So the question is Talomater the same halacha as Yalav Yavo? So we'll see. So Rav Chaim is going to say that Talomater is different. Yalav Yavo is external, so therefore you don't have to go back for. And therefore you fulfill your mitzvah of tefillah even without Yalav Yavo. But Talomater is essential, it's inherited, it's part of the nusach of the Shemona Esrei, and if you change it around, if you call Mashal Matbeah, whoever changes around the text of the Shemona Esrei, it's like you didn't daven at all. So Rav Chaim assumed Talomater is intrinsic to the Shemona Esrei, and therefore if you left out Talomater at Mincha Erev Shabbos, according to Rav Chaim, you'd have to go back and repeat Friday night. We'll see if that's the way we pass them. That's the way Rav Chaim paskins, that if you forget Talomater Friday afternoon, so the halacha is you do daven Friday night, because it's like you didn't daven Mincha at all. So that's, and so the Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank seems to disagree. He seems to say it's similar to Yalav Yavo, and therefore it should be the same. It's the same halacha. But we said we paskin anyway that we do a second Shemona Esrei out of doubt. We say if the halacha is like Rabbeinu Yehuda, it's a nedava, it's a voluntary tefillah. If the halacha is like the Rif, it's mandatory. So why can't we say the same thing Friday night? Because there's another problem. The halacha is, the Rambam tells us that on Shabbos we don't do a tefillas nedava. Since you didn't bring a karban nedava, you can't bring a voluntary karban. Only certain karbanas supersede the Shabbos, ones you have to bring. But you can't bring a karban nedava since it involves desecration of the Shabbos, so we don't do it on Shabbos. So too, the Rambam writes, we don't do, since the tefillas nedava is patterned after the karban, even though a tefillah doesn't involve any desecration, nevertheless the minhag is, the Rambam writes that tefillah can have karbanas, and therefore we don't do a tefillas nedava either Friday night, so we're stuck. So we can't make the compromise, we have to take a stand. So Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank writes, Safek brachos lahaka, since it's a sveika dedina, how we paskin, whether it's like the Rif or Rabbeinu Yehuda, so therefore, when in doubt, do without. When it comes to brachos, we have a principle that we're lenient. If we're not sure, we should make it. And therefore, according to Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank, one would not repeat a second Shemona Esrei Friday night. So this issue between Rav Chaim, there are other poskim involved, but we'll just call it the Machokas Rav Chaim Brisker and Tzvi Pesach Frank, whether you have to go back and repeat Shemona Esrei if you daven mincha left out Talomater. According to Rav Chaim, yes. According to Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank, no. So why? Because there seems to be the same issue. Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank would learn Talomater isn't intrinsic either. So it's like Yalav Yavo. It's just the chiyuv she'ela. You're making a request, but it's not inherent part and parcel of the Shemona Esrei, and therefore you wouldn't have to go back on Friday night because you already got fulfillment of mincha. And the Rav Chaim seems to say it's actually miguf hatfilah. The kasha they ask on Rav Chaim is the following: if saying Talomater is intrinsic to the Shemona Esrei, and if you leave it out, it's like you're changing the text of the Chachamim. It's like you didn't daven at all. If that's true, then how does Rav Chaim explain the following halacha? The halacha is, and this is the way we paskin, that as we mentioned v'sein Talomater, we ask for rain in the Barach Aleinu bracha, in the Barach Hashanim. let's say, and we said if you remember after Shmona Esrei that you didn't say V'sein Talamatar, you have to repeat Shmona Esrei. What happens if you remember while you're still in the middle of Shmona Esrei? So the halacha is, if you're still in the middle section, one could insert it in the Shema Koleno. The halacha is that if you forget to say Talamatar, and now you're in the middle of Shema Koleno, so you can insert V'sein Talamatar in the middle of Shema Koleno and then keep on going. So according to Rav Chaim, how can you put V'sein Talamatar in the middle of Shema Koleno? If saying Talamatar is inherent to the bracha, so you shouldn't be able to change the place. But the fact you could say it in Shema Koleno seems to be a kasha on Rav Chaim. So how would Rav Chaim explain this halacha that you make it up that you could say V'sein Talamatar in Shema Koleno? That's one question. And also interesting, there's another machlokas Rishonim on a similar question. The discussion the Rishonim, imshacha gam b'shamei tefila, v'nizkar kodem she'akal ragav. So the halacha is, if you remember before or during Shema Koleno, you say V'sein Talamatar in the middle of Shema Koleno. What happens if you started with say or by Sim Shalom, and then you remembered, but you weren't okay Raglav, you still didn't finish Shmona Esrei. So you go back. Where do you go back to? So there are only a couple of options. Either you go back to Baruch Aleinu, or you go back to Shema Koleno. So Tosfos writes in Tainus Av Gimel Amud Beis, you go back to Shema Koleno and you insert V'sein Talamatar, then you keep on going from there. And that's the psak of the Ran as well, B'Shem Rav Haigon. That you go back, once you pass into the next section, the Bakasha section, once you pass the request section and move into the thank you section, so you have to go back to Shema Koleno. However, the Rambam in Hilchos Tefillah, Parak Yud Halacha Tes says, Chozer leBirchas Hashanim. You go back to Baruch Aleinu, the original bracha where you put it in. V'chein nifzak lahalacha b'Shulchan Aruch in Kuf Yud Zayin Sif Hey in Shulchan Aruch. That's the way the Mechaber paskins, like the Rambam. So we have a machlokas Rishonim whether once you pass the middle section, you moved into the third section, so you have to go back. As long as you didn't finish davening yet. So where do you go back to? So Tosfos says you go back to Shema Koleno, and the Rambam says, and the way the Shulchan Aruch paskins, you go back to Baruch Aleinu. So I would have said, without knowing the machlokas Rishonim, I would have said like Tosfos. Tosfos make off on the first glance. Tosfos seems to make more sense, because why does it make more sense? Or at least to me, it makes more sense because once you're going back, so why do you have to go back to Baruch Aleinu and then have all those extra brachas? We always try to minimize any extra blessings. We don't have to make them. Since you can make it up in Shema Koleno, so what's the difference when you pass? Now you go back. So Tosfos seems to make sense. We'll have to explain what's the pshat in the Rambam. Why do you have to go back to the beginning? So this seems to be back to our fundamental machlokas Rambam and Baalei Tosfos. How do you view the halacha of V'sein Talamatar? So Rabbi Yehuda, the Baalei Tosfos, seems to learn V'sein Talamatar the same way as Yalav Yavo. That basically is a chiyuv she'ela. In general, you have a mitzvah during the rainy season, or what Chazal consider the rainy season, to put in V'sein Talamatar in the Shmona Esrei. However, there are two places, she'efshar lish'ol al geshamim. There's two places Chazal said, the Anshe Knesset Haggadah said you could put Shema Koleno, either you could put V'sein Talamatar in Baruch Aleinu, or you could put it in Shema Koleno. V'chadchila, the best place is in Birchas Hashanim. However, if you forget, then you could put it in Shomei Tefillah. And therefore, fundamentally, there are two places to put the V'sein Talamatar. So l'chadchila you would put it in Baruch Aleinu, But if not, we do it in Shema Koleinu. So too, when you go back, if you pass Shomei Tefillah, you go back to Shema Koleinu, because that is an appropriate place to put it. However, the Rambam sheet is, no, there's only one place for the saying Talo Matar. The halacha is, you only say Talo Matar. The Rav Chaim writes, it's only Miguf HaTfilah. It's part of the inherent in the Tfilah. You must say in the saying Talo Matar in the bracha Baruch Aleinu. It's part of the Nusach HaTfilah. That's the only place. We paskin that if you forget to say the saying Talo Matar Baruch Aleinu, you say it in Shema Koleinu. You just told me there's only one place to put it. So Rav Chaim explains, the Rav explains as follows, that Kushashachach ha'omra b'birkas hashanim tiknu lo din shel tashlumin sheyachol lahashlim ma'ashechiser b'bracha shomei tefillah. So Kadesh lo yivarach brachas yiseres which one answer. In other words, we know normally it's halach of tashlumin. If I forget shacharis, I can make it up a mincha. I forget mincha, I can make it up a mayra, etc. But the Rav of Chaim are being machadish here that the din of Tashlum by saying Talo Matar is different. That really the place to put it in is in Baruch Aleinu. Once you miss it, that's it. You missed the makom. Why could you make it up in Shema Koleinu? That's a din of Tashlumin that Chazal said you could put the Baruch Aleinu, you could put Talo Matar in the bracha of Shema Koleinu in order to not have to make extra brachas. And in fact, the Bir Halacha has a bigger chiddush. In Kuf Yud Zayin Sifhei Divrei HaMaskalim, he writes, Im Chiser B'shar Brachas Davar Shehu Me'ikar HaBracha. Even not limited to Talo Matar. If let's say you left out, let's say Kagon Shachiser Inyan Kibbutz Golios B'Birkas Takah B'Shofar. If you left out the major part in the bracha Takah B'Shofar, Gam Ken Yachol Lahashlim B'Shomei Tefillah. In other words, it's not a special halach in Talo Matar. He's saying this in all the brachas of the Bakasha section. You have ability to make a tashlumin in Shomei Tefillah. But nevertheless, the Rambam writes, the halacha is to say it only in the saying Talo Matar and Baruch Aleinu. What about the halacha of Shema Koleinu? That's a separate halacha of tashlumin. But really, the only place to put it is in. So therefore, that's the Rambam Shita. So the Rambam writes, if you forget to say, once you go past Shema Koleinu, you start the next section, Bittul Din Tashlumin. Once you're ready now have to go back and make extra brachos, so the halachas of Tashlumin fall off. So then you go back to the Me'ikar Adin, the regular din is, where is the place to say the same Talo Matar? In Baruch Aleinu, so you go back to Baruch Aleinu. So it's the Rambam L'Shitason. So it's the Rav Chaim explains it. It's the Rambam who holds that saying Talo Matar is Miguf HaTfilah, and therefore the only place to put it is in Baruch Aleinu. There's a din of Tashlum and a Shema Koleinu, but once you mess up the din of Tashlum, you have to go back to Baruch Aleinu if you went past there. And who had then Rav Chaim writes, that's Talachah. If you forget Talo Matar on Erev Shabbos, it's Din Tfilah. It's like you didn't daven mincha at all, and therefore you'd have to repeat Ma'ariv Shtayim. And others, according to the Bali Tosas, it wouldn't be true. In fact, there's another machlokas which seems to tie into this as well. The Rush also in the beginning of Tainus in Siman Aleph brings down B'Shem HaRaviyah, Dimsiyam Birkas Hashanim V'Niskar Kodem Shehitchil Birch Brachas Takah B'Shofar Yachol L'Shol Sham. In other words, the question is like, let's say I say Baruch Atah Hashem Mevarech Hashanim. I didn't start the next bracha Takah B'Shofar. So after I say Baruch Atah Hashem Mevarech Hashanim, I didn't start the next bracha. Can I insert the words V'Sein Talo Matar? So Tosfos, so the Rush quotes from Raviyah that yes, one is permitted to insert the words in there. So that makes sense according to the Bali Tosfos, L'Shitason, that the chiyuv of Talo Matar isn't inherent, it's not part of the Nusach HaTfilah. it's a Chiyav Sheila which they put in Baruch Aleinu. So Mistama, logically one would say, so even if it's close to the bracha, that's also good enough. However, according to the Rambam, or those who hold it's Bikuf Atfila, so then Pashas, one would not be able to say it in Mevarach Hashanim, or right after Mevarach Hashanim, you have to wait for Shema Koleinu. And in fact, the Rav Yah brings this halacha in by Mashiv Haruach as well. Let's say Baruch Atah Hashem Mechaye HaMesim. So he writes, you could also insert Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem and then go on. And in fact, in Shulchan Aruch and Kuf Yud Daled, the Shulchan Aruch only brings down this halacha by Morid Hagashem. In other words, the Shulchan Aruch brings it down by Morid Hagashem that if you say Baruch Atah Hashem Mechaye HaMesim and you remember right away, so then one is permitted to go ahead and say Mashiv Haruach Morid Hagashem. However, the Shulchan Aruch does not. The Rav Yah brings it down by both, but the Shulchan Aruch only brings it down by Mashiv Haruach, but doesn't bring it down by the same Talmud Matar. And others do bring it down, so it's a Machlokas HaPoskim. But it could be the Shulchan Aruch is going L'Shitason, like the Rambam, that Sheila B'Birkas Hashanah, maybe Mashiv Haruach, the word is only external, and therefore you can make it up right after Mechaya Mesim. But the same Talmud is Mikuf HaTfila, and therefore Buras Geshamim is only a Haskara B'Yalma, so you can make it up there. But if you assume Mikuf HaTfila, so then you wouldn't be able to. So, to summarize, we have a major issue on how do we view a Shmona Esrei without the same Talmud Matar? Is it the Yotzei the mitzvah of Tefillah, but there is no, but you're lacking the Chiyuv Hatzkara, and therefore that's why you have to repeat? Or no, do we view a Talmud Matar with not davening at all? So that seems to be a Machlokas Rav Chaim and Rav Pesach Frank on whether it's either way you have to daven over again, so my nafkamina. Nafkamina is if you forget to say at Mincha on Erev Shabbos and now it's Shabbos, so you have to daven a Tashlumin Friday night. So Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank there's no Suffolk Brachos V'Hakel, so therefore we don't. But Rav Chaim isn't in doubt. He says the same Talmud is Mikuf HaTfila, and therefore one would have to. And we point out this issue as well relates to the question as well of where the halacha is that if you get to say it in the same Talmud Matar, you can make it up in Shema Koleinu. Everyone agrees to that's the halacha. However, what happens if you miss Shomei Tefillah? You start the next section. So Tosfos is right, you go back to Shomei Tefillah. The Rambam says you have to go back to Baruch Aleinu. Again, what's the issue? So the Tosfos holds it's a Chiyav Sheila. There are two places to put it. So if you missed L'Chatchila and Baruch Aleinu, then you can put it in Shema Koleinu. So if you go too far, you just go back to Shema Koleinu. But the Rambam holds that you have to put it in Baruch Aleinu. What about making it up in Shema Koleinu? That's a din of Tashlumim. It's not part of the regular halacha. And therefore, once you miss the Tashlumim, you pass Shema Koleinu and go into the third section, so then you'd have to go back to Baruch Aleinu. In fact, also, that could be the issue if right after Baruch Atah Hashem and Baruch Hashanim, whether you could say the same Talmud Matar right there before you begin the next bracha. So according to Tosfos, if you hold it to Chiyav She'ela B'Yalma, so then logically you could say Samach is, if it's close to the bracha, it's good enough. And according to the Rambam, you have to go back to Baruch Aleinu. That's the way the Shulchan Aruch passes like the Rambam, that one would have to go back to Baruch Aleinu. You can't insert it right away after the Kabbah, so after Baruch Aleinu. You have to go back to the beginning. Those are some of the halachas of V'zein Talmud Matar. We'll have to continue on it later.